Hi, I'm Cash, and welcome back to Cash Talks Football, where I break down all the goals scored in the Premier League, using my vast coaching experience and doing many other things in the old professional footballing worldy. I'll give you some sort of different insight, hopefully to help you become a better coach, a better player, or maybe you just want to learn something different on the old YouTubes, and not listening to the idiots that talk on sports media, because genuinely they really don't have a clue, or teach you anything at all, because they just don't know. Today we're covering Liverpool against Sheffield United. And we're going to look at this first goal here, but I want you to be aware, when we're talking about this, I'm showing you it from this angle here, because I'm showing you how bad the position is, the shape is of this team. Okay, so the goalkeeper's got the ball. When the keeper's got the ball and he's looking to play out the back, right? He's got a couple of options. Can he play out the back? Well, not really. He can, but there's a couple of problems with that, which I'm going to cover in a minute. But more importantly, can he go long? No. You see this player here? He needs to be getting back here, trying to stretch the back four. If he's going long, he's going into this pocket of 5 here. Can we see that? We've got a player that's gone up too high on the one side, and we've got a player here, that's where he needs to be passing the ball. That is his pass. And you'll go, but Cash, he's going to get pressured by this player. That's exactly what you want to happen. Right? And him not being able to see this is shocking. If your goalkeeper lets this goal in, because he kicks it against the striker, and the striker bundles it into the goal, if your goalkeeper lets this in at under 12s or under 13s, it's acceptable. If you've done it under 14s, no, it's not acceptable. If he's doing it in the Premier League, it's even worse. So with this bearing in mind, we know that this is the area that we want to get to, right? We can't really get to it because this guy, why I'm asking about this guy pulling out wide is because it's an easy pass into him here. He's got all the time in the space in the world because there's nobody in this area here. That's why you really want this guy to pull out wide, like he's kind of done over here, but that's what you want this guy to do here. So this is the pass in here. Let's get rid of this and show you why this is the pass in here and why this is so important. This is a simple pass in here. Bosch plays it straight in. Why? Because this guy is overcommitting. What does that enable him to do? This guy to be free. So as soon as that pass comes in, Bosch, he plays it to him. Bosch, straight into these two, turn, and we're off into these 3. It's that simple. He doesn't see that. He cannot see that. Why are we passing it to him? He's completely and utterly free. He's too far away, so at least he gets a first touch and a second touch to pass it, because this guy's not close enough. Fine. And by the way, here's the other thing. This guy's way overcommitted, so he knows the goalkeeper's going to be out of an option to pass back to. Totally fine. But this guy here won't be. Or, here's the other part. If this guy's any way confident on the ball, his first touch will be into this space here, and he can make the pass into these 2 here, and he doesn't necessarily need to use this player here. Yeah. But that's not what happens, because you know what? Premier League, and they're all bad at the football. In comes the whack, smack, and it goes into the goal. So it's just a simple pass. No, but they'd rather be 1-0 down. Let's get on to the next goal. Okay, before the goal actually goes in, and there's a nice little play here by this guy wide. Well, that's what you'll think, but it's not. It's actually awful play by this defender here, and it makes this guy look like a superstar. So if you look at this defender right now, here's his shoulders. He's facing the crowd. Right, he really wants to have his shoulders about here and facing the crowd at this sort of angle there. That's where he wants to be. So he's hiding that space in behind there, and he's forcing him in this way. Why can this particular defender do it? Because he's got a bit of pace about him, so he can afford to be on the half turn, and he's not. So then when this little move happens here, watch, look at how he's gone to tackle. Because he's right-footed, he's gone in with his right foot, and he's turned his back to the player. So now the player's just skipped around him because he doesn't know how to tackle. Does he need to tackle in there? No, he doesn't need to do anything. He's got him pinned against the out of bounds line. I was going to call it the touch line then, back to the old ruggers. This is why it's important learning about when to attack and when not to attack when you're a defender trying to attack to win the ball back. And the other reason is, if he doesn't win the ball, do you see he has no cover here? It's too early. All he has to do is hold and delay and let the running back, the players coming back, help him do his job. He doesn't. He dives in and makes a complete mess of it, allowing the cross to come in really, really easily. And then let's cover the cross. So now we want to have a little look here when this ball comes down and he's trying to head it. Yeah, it's not really a good header, but it's not a bad header. If you're a striker, one of the main things you sometimes want to do is just head the ball, just touch the ball, see what happens. And that's exactly what happens here. This little defender gets a little deflection and nutmegs his own keeper just by a bit of bad luck. Bosh, there we go. But he's also 2v1 exposed over here, because on the counter-attack, his left-back's dived in and left him exposed here, and they haven't been able to get enough bodies back. That's why it's so important you don't dive in on the other side of the field and make yourself look like a muppet, because this guy now will get the blame. They'll blame him for his poor defending, because basically they don't know anything about football. And the real target is the left back over here, who shouldn't have been diving in the first place, shouldn't have got beaten. And that's the whole problem with football nowadays, is they look at the symptom and not the cause of the problem. That's like one of those things when they say your knee's not over the ball. That isn't the problem. That's the symptom. And that's when you know if someone doesn't know anything about football, they will say something as moronic as your knee is not over the ball. That person doesn't know what they're talking about. That's a symptom of a problem. They don't understand what the problem is, so they're repeating a symptom that they've been hearing for 20 years on TV. And they're wrong. Let's get on to the next goal. Sometimes it's a good goal, sometimes there's bad defending. This is a bit of a good, well, it's more of a good goal than bad defending, but there is something I'm going to comment on here, because it's the same thing I comment about all the time on corners. If you look at how deep this back line is here, right, and you look at the D, they've started to frame it. So if you think of this as a corner scenario when the cross is coming in, you should be having someone defensively here. You see this wee guy here, he could have just stepped up and been able to clear this ball, and this wouldn't have been a problem. But they're looking at it, they're getting pulled back too deep. And even so, look, they've still got players that are completely unmarked in the box. So from a defensive point of view, it is not good. So when this ball breaks, you don't have anybody really here in the danger areas to clear the ball away. They're not particularly holding their shape well. Their shape's collapsing, and they're almost becoming one big line. And even that big line isn't really defending properly. Now, after a bit of a ricochet and a bounce around, the ball breaks. There's no one really here to properly clear it. It bounces off this guy. He could have run and put some pressure on. He doesn't really put enough, and it's already into the back of the goal before anybody can react. That's why you're there before the ball gets there, because you're defending. You're not trying to attack. And all of a sudden, you've just, you're little 1-1. Now you're 2-1 down, and the inevitable's going to happen. You know Liverpool's going to get another goal. And let's get on to that one. This goal's all about the pass from the left-hand side here. I'm not sure who plays it for Liverpool, because I don't know who's injured and who's not anymore for these guys. But the header's not bad, but also there's a bit of a problem where Sheffield United, they've pushed up a little bit further up the field than they have for the whole game. This is what happens when you get later on in the game. You make silly mistakes that you weren't doing. You push up a little bit further, a little bit higher, and you allow that space in behind. And this is just a simple ball with space in behind, and then having the striker go on and finish it. Striker finishes with his head. Quality little header into the corner. Nothing spectacular about his finish, except for he gets it on target, and it's good. Nicholas Jackson from Chelsea should learn something about that. Sometimes you just get it on target with a little nod, and the power of the cross and the power of all the delivery does the rest for you. And look at how high this line has come up here, though. And you don't really want to be doing that if you're Sheffield United, and that's what's ended up. When he goes to head the ball, and you can see no one's near him, he just gets a nice little nod on it, beats the keeper, quality little downward, underneath the keeper's left-hand side. God, I don't have my left and right-hand gloves on today. Other than that, I'll see you next time on Cash Yells about Premier League footballers.